was once the last word in the definition of beauty, okay? Now it's the public that decides.
Okay.
It's us.
It's us.
All right? There's a huge momentum forcing a change. And
It's
thank
about
goodness.
time.
Thank goodness.
Oh, the same dead-eyed, and here's the thing. I'm not critiquing. I am. But I'm not critiquing. but I am. But it's like this same wafer-thin woman walking down in the runway and then, convincing all of us that this is somehow attainable, that we can somehow get this or should want it.
Well, the reality
and telling
is
people with freckles that they can't have pictures taken.
This is what I'm saying is at the end of the day, I will never look like a 6 foot blonde, blue-eyed model. I will
6 foot.
Terry, never.
The 6 foot is going to be really hard to pull off.
6 foot.
The blonde we can do.
We can do that. I can blonde all day long.
We can do that.
Beyonce told us that.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? But the reality is that we all want to see representation, and you want to have representation. I'm sure you've seen the model with Down syndrome. Oh my goodness! Every video of her is just incredible.
Thank you. And just to realize this, I found this really amazing that the average model size in the 80s was a 6, which still seemed really, really skinny to me, and is very thin.
Yeah.
And by the 90s, it was a 2.
Right, because at 6 you couldn't see people's bones properly.
Oh, is that what it was?
You
I think it's interesting when you watch a lot of fashion shows, they talk about finding the perfect hanger.
Yeah.
Why don't we just use a hanger?
Exactly.
And if you really want to put a wig on it, just for your own, moment, right? Go ahead and do that. But like the idea that having like a blemish, or the fact that we even call it a blemish, it's your skin,
right?
How is your skin at fault?
Right.
So it's such a welcome change to see people, to look at ads with this just range of people,
different sizes,
and that's not the issue. Even they're just cool people in this.
Yes.
It's not like they're trying to make a point all the time.
Yeah. And you know what? I think the reality is that one of the things that has actually kind of opened it up is people putting themselves out there on Instagram, showing their own style, and that we can find and letting us as the audience say, well, I find this beautiful. And also showing the advertisers that we do. Yes. And showing companies that we do, because Instagram, so what I feel like they're catching up to us. Hello, trendsetters. Yes.
That's you.
That's you.
I'm just saying you're all influencers, because what happens is now they go, well, wait a minute, they're not all picking that same swimsuit model, and that the people who are the biggest influencers aren't falling into this very narrow, totally unattainable in any kind of healthy way, look. Maybe we do need to include other people. And it's not that they've had, I think, necessarily these huge realizations, much more than they've paid attention. Yes, absolutely. Well, long before curvy models could become supermodels, Emmy was trailblazing the industry with a message of body acceptance, and she is on the phone with us today. Hi, Emmy! Hi, Emmy, thank you for being here.
Hello, goddesses.
Ooh, you just made our entire day.
We are goddesses, y'all, okay? Well, I want to get into it, Emmy. How was it?
Into it.
Yes, let's get into it, girl. What was it like to push against the beauty norm and fight for body awareness in fashion?
It was hard. I think every time that I would show up at a fashion show, sitting in the front row because I was the host of E, and then I was modeling, and they groan and say, "Oh, she's not going away."
Oh my
And
gosh.
when change comes onto an industry and they're so used to doing it one way, I think with all of our lives, if we just are constantly doing the same thing, and maybe it's not working, but it's what we're doing, it's very hard to change. So I kind of communicated incessantly. I just didn't stop and said there has to be diversity. We are diverse.
Yeah,
if we're not
thank you.
reflecting diverse.
And I watched, we're showing pictures of you walking down the runway, and girl, you slay it. You kill it, okay?
Fierce.
And the fact that, that people would keep us away from that. And what you show us is that at any size, people can we are beautiful.
age too. So we're, I'm in my 50s now, and so I'm realizing that where I see my own reflections, not me physically, but I'm looking at where is my reflection, and I realized that wow, here we have the money. We worked real hard to get the money, to get the bacon, and we're not being marketed to. And it really is, that's the next thing. I think we need to have more diversity in all different areas, because we're at the stage now in fashion and in the world that, as you were starting the show, you said the consumer, the shopper is now with the reins. And for any of your viewers or seeing this and hearing this, you just need to keep using your voice. It's not just one lone wolf out there. We now have a bunch of beautiful women, curvy models, ambulatory models. I just walked in the New York Fashion Week for Chromat, and we had a whole diverse. It's the most diverse show in New York Fashion Week. And I feel so proud because this designer takes a stand and says, we are not just one thing.
Right.
And stop it.
Yes. Yes.
It's so empowering.
It's so empowering.
You are so right. I feel like we are collectively throwing our fashion magazines as if they were tea into the harbor and saying we will not be taxed without representation. You will represent us all. We will not buy your lip gloss.
Take a look at social media, how it really made an incredible impact on the way that fashion is being sold.
Yes.
Not only was the department store chairman of the board or whomever calling the shots and all the managers, it was now in the hands of someone holding a device in their hand and saying, I will not shop with my clothes on the 7th floor next to maternity. And just because I'm above a size 12, why can't we all shop together?
Putting us in the back with the dishes.
Right.
Why am I going to pay you top dollar when you treating me like I'm the bottom?
Yes.
So this changed. What you're saying is that a lot of women started using their voices, and then free shipping came in. Free shipping turned the entire fashion industry upside down in retail, because once, here we are, we don't know what size one designer versus the other. I'll just get two, because guess what? I can return free.
Right.
I don't have to walk in. I don't have to deal with that salesperson's attitude.
And I don't think we have anything for you, person.
That's happened to me. I walked into a store and had a salesperson walk up to you and go, I'm not sure we have anything for you. And I was like, well, now I know you don't.
Bite me. Just, you should wear a little button that says bite me. No,
that's the next
seriously,
big thing.
Okay, so with all this wonderful empowerment, we do want our wonderful clothiers to be in business, because we need fashion.
Yes.
We want to look fabulous. We want to look great in all different ways of our lives, all of our personalities being reflected. So if we become fashion police in a real true sense, to really and use your voice and use your social media in a positive way. So when they're doing things that are positive and you feel good and you like the fit and it feels great, you know that whether you're a rocker chick or a preppy sister, whatever the range you are, if you are getting your clothes, let your retailer know that they're doing a good job. However, if they're not doing the right kind of job, let them know in a constructive way that you are not going to stop talking until it gets done.
Thank you, Emily.
Me Time with Frangela.